Okay, Michelle Obama, former First Lady, has had a discussion where she was asked about how do we handle the Republicans. The Republicans are going on a mob accusation campaign accusing the Democrats of using mob tactics when it's the Republicans who are doing it. And that's their hypocrisy strategy of blaming the victim. And I've talked about that. Uh, but Michelle uh, indicated that she wants to teach her kids about the positive life that they can have and achieve rather than using a fear tactic. And uh, what is Michelle Obama teaching her daughters about Trump? Because Trump is in the position of power. Uh, we should be afraid when those in power are taking away rights, when taking away freedoms. You cannot give positive affirmation to your kids because when they grow up and they end up as slaves, you know, their hopes and dreams that they believed from their parents are shattered, and there's a mental crisis that occurs when you realize that you've been lied to. Uh, I went through it. I had the belief growing up that I was just supposed to find a job and get my own place and live my life. And then I graduated from high school and went on to college and realized uh, I can't just get a regular job. It costs too much money to live. You have to have a high-paying job. And so I was shattered uh, early on when I was set free on the world. My parents didn't adequately teach me. And so Michelle Obama's positive attitude teaching is very dangerous when corruption rules. And uh, people who talk about the news being negative and they don't want to watch the news because it's so negative. I'm sorry, but you can't just turn it off because there are problems everywhere that have gone from the tops of government positions all the way down to our society. I've got another video on this site about ransom economy. Our whole economy is based on the ransom principle. When uh, there's a kidnapping and the people call for a ransom demand, that's exactly what we're experiencing in our economy. We are provided with poor quality products and we are forced to pay more money to continue to have those lifestyles of those products. Everything from food to clothing to communications, which the internet is a communications device. The FCC has turned it into a media device so that whenever they want to, they can turn it into Trump TV. But yeah, things are bad. And people who tell us that we shouldn't employ the fear tactic. The fear tactic, when used by those in control, is wrong. But those of us who are in the trenches, who are in the war, who are on the battlefront, if we need to give a report to the people about what's going on the war, on the battlefront, we can't just say, oh, we're doing great. No lives are gone or have been taken, no casualties. We're going to win this war. Those are lies. We are taking casualties. People are dying every day. And to just ignore that, hope it goes away and doesn't exist, is more dangerous. And so, uh, if you're a Christian, I'm going to destroy your biblical interpretation. The Sermon on the Mount. Everybody thinks that is about not fighting and not standing up for yourself, not defending yourself, just allowing wicked people to abuse and abuse you, and you just outright forgive them, and that'll somehow magically change their heart and they'll stop. No. No, no, no. Turn the other cheek. Read it over carefully. If anybody smites you on your right cheek, left cheek, turn the other. So people use their right hand. The left cheek is over here. They can't do the left cheek unless they slap you. It's the slapping that they're performing. So they're taunting you to fight. Now, because nobody does their study of the scriptures, which involves a study of the history of the Jewish people at the time of Christ, nobody understands Jewish law. And so what Jesus was talking about was how to use the Jewish law to get people who are abusing you and taunting you to be held accountable so that they stop because the law tells them to stop. You don't draw first blood. You turn your other cheek. You make them draw first blood. Now you've got cause to take them to court and sue them for attack. And then the cloak. That one. Jewish law does not allow the main garment. And that's what Jesus is saying. If somebody wants to take your outer garment, your coat or whatever the translation ends up being, but if they take that, give them the under part, because under Jewish law you can't take that from somebody. That is the basic clothing that everybody must have, and anybody who takes it is committing a crime. And so, if somebody compels you to go a mile, go with him twain. So, hey, you're going to make me go a mile? Come with me. We'll go 2 miles. All of a sudden, that person's going to say, I don't want to go. Never mind. So that's how Jesus is trying to communicate with people. He's not telling people to be pushovers like Ned Flanders. The Simpsons have it right when they're picking on Ned for his ultra-Christy beliefs. Jesus is telling people how to hold people accountable when they are being abusive. And that's what we need to do in our government and in our society. We need to hold those in positions of power accountable. Jesus, for example, when the Pharisees, scribes, and Sadducees all came to him and trying to get him busted according to the law of Moses, Jesus threw it right back at them. Called them hypocrites. Nobody in government is calling Trump a hypocrite or any of the senators hypocrites. The news is figuring it out. They're going, hey, wait a minute, we got a news clip of Mitch McConnell saying that we need to wait until after the election in order to vote for a Supreme Court justice, but now McConnell is trying to push through a Supreme Court justice before the election. That's calling people out. That's exposing them for their hypocrisy, for their doublespeak, for their double standards. And so Trump is now calling Democrats the mob. Trump is the mob. He's a mob boss. So he's being a hypocrite. Somebody call him out in public to his face. Hold him accountable. Nobody is above the law. Take him out of office. He is guilty of murder. He is locking up babies in cages. People are dying. Hold abusers accountable. It's that simple. Don't whitewash it to cover up the corruption within. Expose the corruption. Hold them accountable. Take them down. Trim the lofty branches. It's that simple. If you guys are religious folk, you know what I was referring to in all those statements. They came from the New Testament. We need to stop this. We need to stop it now.